We've all been sold this lie from day one that professional success is just a solitary pursuit. We're told that if you just have enough individual discipline, enough raw talent and relentless ambition, you're inevitably going to reach the top. Well, we are going to challenge that traditional belief head-on today. Because while your personal drive and your mindset absolutely matter, there is another, almost invisible force shaping your trajectory every single day. We're talking about proximity and why your circle is ultimately dictating your ceiling.
So, why do high-potential people get stuck? It's a question that haunts so many incredibly talented professionals. And honestly, it's a jarring reality. You might even be feeling it right now in your own career. That really deep, heavy frustration of feeling trapped or stagnant, even though you have massive ambition and a flawless work ethic. You're doing everything right, you're putting in the hours, you're grinding away, but you're just hitting this invisible wall. It's like being a high-performance engine that's just endlessly revving in neutral.
Here is the reality check, and it's a big one. The issue isn't your capability, it's your proximity. The true bottleneck to your growth isn't a lack of talent or effort, it's the environment and the energy that you're normalizing every single day. Look, if you're constantly surrounded by negativity, limitation starts to feel completely normal. If everyone around you is playing small, your ambition will quietly shrink just to fit the room. And over time, playing small doesn't just hold you back momentarily, it completely rewires your baseline for what you even believe is possible.
Let's look at how your environment shapes your identity through the invisible force of proximity. We need to completely redefine what an environment actually is, because usually we just think of it as a physical place, right? An office, a city, a boardroom, but it is so much more than that. It is the emotional energy you're exposed to. It's the digital content you consume. It's the behavioral standards you're absorbing without even realizing it. It's those subtle cues, the cynical complaints at the water cooler, the lack of urgency in your weekly meetings. See, expectations shape our behavior far more than raw motivation ever will. If you rely purely on motivation but you're sitting in a toxic environment, the environment is going to win every single time.
Think of it like this psychological domino effect. Step 1, your environment shapes your expectations. It dictates what you believe is standard or normal or acceptable. Step 2, those expectations quietly start to shift your daily behavior. Step 3, that repeated behavior forms your identity, literally how you view yourself as a professional and a leader. And finally, Step 4, that identity creates your outcomes. Over time, you don't just work in an environment, you absorb it. You literally become a reflection of the standards you repeatedly accept.
Next, let's contrast the complainers versus the doers and dive into the contagion of energy.
There is such a stark contrast between these two very different professional circles. On one side, you have the complainers, and let me tell you, complaining is incredibly contagious. In these rooms, blame is a constant, progress is painfully slow, and every ambitious idea is immediately shot down as unrealistic. It is an environment heavy with friction and decay. But then, look at the other side, the doers. When you are around people who execute consistently, action becomes normalized. Ideas actually turn into rapid experiments. You stop over-romanticizing the perfect plan, and you finally start respecting execution. Momentum just becomes your natural state.
The crucial point here is that your tolerance for risk is highly socially influenced. If everyone around you fears uncertainty, you are absolutely going to become more cautious. Imagine bringing this bold, innovative idea to a team that is just terrified of failure. Their collective hesitation is immediately going to make you second-guess yourself, right? You start playing defense instead of offense. But put that exact same idea into a room full of people who reinvent themselves and openly recover from setbacks, your entire relationship with fear changes. Risk suddenly feels survivable, and possibility becomes completely accessible.
Which brings us to the discomfort of upgrading. And what happens when you start outgrowing familiar spaces?
Changing your trajectory often means you have to distance yourself from dynamics that just no longer align with your growth. And yep, it's emotionally uncomfortable. But there is a massive distinction you have to understand here. Comfortable spaces validate who you are right now. They keep you warm, they agree with all your complaints, and they ask literally nothing more of you. Truly supportive spaces, on the other hand, challenge who you are becoming. They demand accountability. They don't just cheer for you, they politely refuse to let you settle for less than your potential. Growth is going to change your relationships, not because anyone is necessarily wrong, but because your new direction changes your compatibility.
So, let's get into upgrading your growth circle and making those intentional shifts.
In today's hyper-connected world, influence completely transcends geography. We really need to talk about digital proximity. Your circle is partially chosen every single day through your attention. It's the content you consume,
The thought leaders you follow online, the professional communities shaping your perspective, the podcasts and books that elevate your standards. You do not need to live in a specific city to surround yourself with world-class thinkers anymore. You literally have a curated boardroom right in your pocket. Use it.
Here is your actionable roadmap for reducing friction and upgrading that circle. Number 1, audit your current influences. Be brutally honest. Who consistently expands your thinking and who drains it? 2, spend more time around builders. These are the people actively creating and executing. Momentum is contagious. 3, consume intentionally. Curate your digital feeds ruthlessly. And 4, seek rooms that challenge you. Sometimes you actively need to seek out spaces where you are the least experienced person in the room. Comfort rarely accelerates growth. Challenge does. Step into the rooms that make you slightly nervous, because that is exactly where the transformation happens.
Now let's pivot to becoming the catalyst, because remember, you also shape the room. We've talked a lot about finding the right rooms, but let's flip the script for a second. You are not just a passive receiver of your environment. You are an active contributor to it. Your mindset affects the room. Your energy completely impacts the flow of conversations. Your standards shape the expectations of your peers. Growth-oriented relationships are strictly reciprocal. To access strong, ambitious circles, you have to become the kind of professional who adds immense value to them. Think of your impact like ripples in water. When you raise your own standards, you inadvertently give everyone else around you permission to do the exact same thing.
I really want you to let this piercing reality check sink in for a moment. Does your current environment reinforce the future you want, or just the comfort you've outgrown? You simply cannot grow alone in the wrong room. If your current circle is fighting your evolution, it is time to make an intentional shift. Today, reach out to someone inspiring. Join a stronger network. Just step away from the draining dynamics that are holding you back.
Your future isn't just shaped by your goals, it's shaped by the people and the conversations you repeatedly allow into your life. But remember, as you climb, you must also build bridges for others. Growth isn't just how far you go, it's how many you take with you. So who are you enabling today?